Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. My brothers and sisters, in our world today, parenting has become a battlefield of influences. We are living at a time of screens, cultures which are there, trends, distractions, and mention others, but a few. But now the Quran gives us what you call a timeless model, Luqman's wisdom here. Because wisdom doesn't age, it adapts. With this, we learn that with wisdom as it adapts, we tend to understand that each and every generation that comes by, wisdom always remains there. And it can be applied at any generation. Whereby many Muslim parents today, we say that our children don't listen. Yes? But now the question is, do we speak the way Luqman spoke? Yes, we want obedience, but here Luqman sought for correction. We want quick change, but Luqman planted deep seeds. What I mean by deep seeds, installing good character to its fullest. Seeds that grew into self-awareness, not dependence. Because he raised this child, teaching him what Tawheed is, relying on Allah, not depending on anything but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, with this, when you talk about building a relationship before instruction, here Luqman began every advice with saying, Ya Bunayya, my beloved son. So here, it's not just a phrase which we just listen and take for granted. No, it's an emotional foundation. He built connection before correction. Yes? So today we say, don't waste time on your phone. Why? Why don't you pray? Yes, we ask such, why don't you pray? Why are you like this? When you are asking your children, why are you like this? What's going on with you? But now, the Quran's method begins with what you call compassion. Like, if your child feels love, he will trust you. He will trust your words, even when they are even heavy. Yes? So, like, if your tone becomes loving and caring, your advice becomes dhikr in his heart. It's a source of reminder, which he can even recall in the future, even when they are grown, that, oh, I remember my mother or my father told me this, and he's able to resonate to that. So, with this, we need to look at this reflection, whereby some people ask themselves, like, why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala immortalize a father's conversation in his final revelation? Why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala place this? Because you see, family is the first school of taqwa. The first school of taqwa. It's before the masjid, before the madrasa. It's the home that shapes the soul. So Luqman's words were not just parenting advice. They were what you call a spiritual method of tarbiyah, upbringing. Tarbiyah in terms, first of all, starting with the spiritual sense. La tushrik billah. Don't join anything with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes, that's the first thing he groomed his child with. And then the second thing was showing what? Goodness. Being good to the parents. Now, with this, today, our children scroll more than they reflect. Yes, due to the current times we're living in. They receive more content than counsel. So, what would Luqman say to a son addicted to such a lifestyle? So, he will not even begin with anger. He would begin with what you call purpose. So for him, he will remind him, he will say, my dear son, your time is your life. Every scroll, every click is what you call a transaction of your existence. It's what you give for your existence. So the question is, what are you buying with your attention? These are questions you ask with your children. Engage such things, conversations, so that also them, they open up their mind. So yeah, that's the Quranic way here, that he links behavior to meaning. Because when a young person finds meaning, discipline becomes what you call voluntarily. Yes? It just does it. It comes that way. Whereby we find out that if it comes to dealing with what you call peer pressure, and influence from others, and what you call identity, seeking for validation, like how are these guys going to see me? How is so and so going to see me? Imagine, we have to first look here when Luqman said, Ya bunayya, aqimi salata wa amru bil ma'ruf wa wanha anil munkar. Yes, says that establish the salah, enjoin what is right, forbid what is wrong. Just that, it's enough to avoid all the peer pressure and stuff, that how are they going to see me? How? No, you are doing it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because we're in a world that says follow trends. Luqman says stand firm. Allah is there. So he's telling his son, don't be a reflection of society. Be a reminder of society. So here, prayer anchors identity when the crowd drifts. Yes, it anchors identity when the crowd drifts, when they turn away. So when your child feels lost among influencers, yes, they remind them the greatest influencer is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's guidance. And that's not rebellion. That's what's called the spiritual independence. Knowing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is sufficient for me. So with knowing this, we need to know that whatever trials we're facing, whatever temptations we go through, trends that are there, the Quran is the guidance. So yeah, we have to be teaching resilience here. Because again, Luqman says, "Wasbiru ala ma asabaka," and be patient with whatever befalls you. This is the advice, parental advice. So here, Luqman prepared his son for hardship, not comfort. He didn't promise him an easy life. He said, you know what, son, I'm telling you this, just be like this, be cool. Whenever something is good for you, just do it. No. He prepared him to endure what you call dignity. So today, we often overprotect our children from failure, but the Quran teaches us to prepare them for what you call resilience. How to come back after a hardship. So, because every difficulty is not a disaster, it's what you call divine training. It's preparing us, it's refining our level of faith. Because we are not just going to be here and we call ourselves believers without being tested. The more hardships we face, the more we become refined in our faith. So when you look at that there is what's called the divine sequence. There is the Tawheed, the oneness, and then there is the gratitude, followed by the accountability, followed by the prayer, and then there is patience coming in there, and then finally humility, khushu. This is not random. It's a curriculum from the heavens. It's not how you raise a soul that can stand. Even when, it's not how you raise the soul that can stand, even when the world collapses. Yes? So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us understand from this and we benefit from it. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.